So I noticed when I was getting into Betaflight and my SpeedyBee F405 board that there's a couple of solder points for a buzzer and beeper, plus and minus. I also realised that these things are incredibly generic and very cheap. So I've got 5 for about $4 Australian and had a look at them. I wanted a loud one, they're bigger than I thought, but anyway, here's the points on the SpeedyBee board where you just solder the 2 wires. And that seemed very straightforward. So I fired up Betaflight and realised that I had to go to the motors tab and there was an entry for a beeper. So having soldered it on, I put this in auto and it then flicked the switch and it detected auxiliary 5. Incidentally, there's a mistake I made here. If you notice that when the controller's not connected, the default is it's always going to be on. So it was quite disconcerting when I first turned it on. When I turned the drone on before turning on the controller, on the box of crush, I was getting a tone all the time. So once I realised what was going on, I went into this and edited it and took it back to about there. So trap for young beginners. At the time I thought that was all I had to do. It turns out there's another thing to change. It turns out that under the configuration tab there's a whole section to do with beeper configuration. This has probably been in Betaflight for quite a while. I couldn't believe how much stuff there is in there. So once I realised that was there, I went in and edited out the stuff that I'm not interested in, which is most of it. So I'll go back and show you what I did and saved. So this is what it looked like after I'd updated it. Because one of the things, I didn't want it to start sounding off if it lost connection with the controller. Because if it's a fair way off and it's making a lot of noise, it's going to attract people. I'd much rather use a different method to detect it, walk up to it, and then flick the switch when I know I'm getting close, so I can then finally locate it. So here's my current favourite drone, where I've located that somewhat large beeper on the front arm. The next one I did, I put it on a back arm. But yeah, so that went alright. And then the next thing to do, next time down the beach with the beeper on board, I was ready to go. This is where I realised that because I'd done the settings wrong, it was beeping all the time and I didn't have a controller on it, which made me realise it's not something I want. So we picked this beach as a long, flat beach, hard to run into trouble. What I didn't count on was a bit of interference on both the 2.4 and 5.8 bands that would affect it. But this flight was just to scope it out, get an idea of distance, and yeah, so that went alright. So I decided I'd fly back, take the GoPro off and just fire it off with the nose cam to record what happened, because I hadn't been flying much acro for a while, so I was feeling a bit sort of twitchy about it. So I thought, well, for the acro flight I won't attach a GoPro. I'll just concentrate on the feel of the thing where it's reasonably light. So I got it up in the air in angle mode as usual, turned around, and then you notice it's flicked to acro mode. Also noticed a little bit of interference on the video there. But anyway, I felt quite comfortable stabilising it, drifting out over the sea a bit, and then heading up the coast. Again, intermittent interference, you can see on the video, but nothing too bad. Pretty standard for analogue. So as I say, I wasn't being particularly ambitious with this, I just wanted to get a little bit more acro time up. Plenty of satellites, 23, 24, which is great. And I'm flying fairly low, around 35 metres at the moment, the altitude. And there's a bad patch of interference, but it's just a narrow band, so not too much of a worry. So there's the next walkway down to the beach, and that's 300 and something, almost 400 metres away from us. So with that interference, I come down lower, intending to return. Unfortunately, I get a bit too low, so I'm not sure what happened, but I could see interference on the video, so I made the decision to drop it. It may have even been too much for the ERS, given the antennas underneath it. So that's the last effective frame. It was 293 metres due south of where we were, so I had an idea of how far away it was, so I started walking, and it took a long time to get there. I was starting to wonder, but as I got closer I pressed the control for the beeper, and sure enough I could hear it. So that was a proof of concept, and it also got me thinking about why I don't want the thing beeping. And what I realised is there's plenty of apps on the phone to measure how many strides you've done and convert it to meters. So I'll put this on the phone, so next time, if I know exactly how far away it is and roughly the bearing, I can start walking and use the app on the phone to tell me how many meters I've gone. So that's something that came out of it. So overall, a successful experiment, and I'm still learning. So all good fun. Bye for now.